Get more information on the search for whoever is responsible behind these horrible things that we have seen. Joining us now, Mike Boettcher, who's been following up on the investigation. Mike, investigators looking into this know more now about those they think are responsible.
And they shared some of it with us today, Joey. They released two lists today. One of the living, that included 100 people, but it was kept private. And this list of the dead, the hijack suspects, all 19 of them aboard the 4 aircraft, 3 of them that went into buildings, the World Trade Center and the Pentagon, and the 3rd that crashed into a field near Pittsburgh. You'll notice that many of these people are from Florida. There were 7 pilots in there. 3 of them are from the New York, New Jersey area. They list that as their address. 17 lived in the United States. The other 2 came from overseas. And we have been developing more information on each one of these people. But what we would like to do is take a look at Mohammad Atta, who was on board one of those aircrafts, the American Airlines aircraft, that goes from, I'm trying to get the flight number right now. Mohammad Atta was on American Flight 11 from Boston to Los Angeles. And we have put together a roadmap of his travels, and it shows the international nature of the travels of Mohammad Atta. He started out in Hamburg, Germany, where he traveled and lived in the 1990s. And then from there, in May of 2000, he ended up in Venice, Florida, and he took a flight training class there. In December of 2000, he was at Coral Springs. That's where we pick him up there. He rented an apartment while he was living in that part of Florida. Then in December of 2000, Opelika, he was at the Sim Center in Opelika, Florida. Now the Sim Center instructor says that Mohammad Atta and 2 other people came there and they wanted to take simulator time in a 727. And he said the odd thing was they weren't interested in takeoffs and landings. They were more interested in how to make turns in a jetliner. Then in February of 2001, we pick him up again in Hamburg, Germany. German police the last 2 days have been going to apartments that have been lived in by Mohammad Atta. According to German authorities, they've been looking at clues there. So he returned there for some reason. And then in August 2001, he came back to Pompano Beach, Florida, where he rented a car at an agency called Warwick. And Warwick Rental Car said they rented him 2 cars over the period of about 30 days. And in the last 2 weeks, the second car that he rented, in about 2 weeks, he put 3,000 miles on that car, which would take him up and down the eastern seaboard if he would have wanted to. So that was an extraordinary amount of mileage. Then last week, we pick up the trail of Mohammad Atta in Palm Beach County. And there he went to a flight center and asked to take 3 refresher flights. He said he wanted to practice that he was a pilot. He had the license. So he was there, and that's right before he left for Boston, Massachusetts, where at the Alamo Rental Car Agency, he rented a car and then drove up to Portland, Oregon on the morning of the attack in Portland, Oregon. He left the car there, Portland, Maine. He left the car there, caught a commuter flight to Boston, and then boarded that American Airlines jet that crashed into the World Trade Center.
Mike, we want to follow up on all of this. Now we want to turn to CNN's Bill